Hey, it's Casino Mike. Do you have an automated business? A remote automated business? Where would you like it to be located? Let's say you're working out of home. Where are you going to move your home to? And some people, they get this idea once they make freelance money, independent money in a business or even working for companies at home as a contractor. First thing they think of is what pitched by some companies is you can live overseas. Or you can move out to a country town. Or if you're out in a country area and you want to move to the big city, you can move to the big city. Here's the problem with all that. If you're going to move somewhere, be ready to live that lifestyle. If you're from the city and you're going to move to the country, you're going to find a whole different environment. It's going to take longer to get things you order because they're not just being flown over to a metropolitan area and then just delivered by a small vehicle. That ends up having to be delivered over a number of miles from the metropolis to that country town. The other thing is there's not a whole lot of amenities in the country towns or entertainment, what have you. That's more in the big cities. So when you go there, you may go crazy because it's going to be pretty quiet. I've known a lot of people who have left the city to go live in the country. Not only did they find it was a different environment, they found that people weren't as friendly to them because, oh, they're from this big city in California, or they're from this other state that has all of this concrete or something. That's how some of them think, and they're not all that friendly. Then there's the people who move from the country to the city. They think it's, oh, people will be friendly to me. They're friendly in my hometown. No, people are very isolated in a very populated community. And it's hard to get to know people. You have to go to events. You have to meet people. And even then, it takes time. It's not just something where you write together. Because in the country, you need each other to be able to live. In the city, people are they need somebody to reach out to. They give a phone call to like an emergency service or something. They depend on technology. They don't go out and form all of these communities. They don't. So it's a different environment when people move to this place. They find themselves out of their element, and they usually move back. In particular, city people, they get bored. They do not want to live somewhere where they're really not all that welcome and where they find themselves struggling to live the way they did in the city. Now, another thing is you're going to hear a lot of these things about these organizations that want to get you to work not only online but move out to a different country. Here's the problem with moving overseas. You have to be able to speak the language, number one, to communicate. Number two, you've got to get used to a certain lifestyle there. They'll just say, oh, it's like any place else, and it may seem that way, but it's really not. Your shopping's going to be different. The way you interact with people that really want to adapt will, but people who want to take their type of living to somewhere else that's absolutely different become frustrated and they move back. So you go through all that time and expense to find out what you thought would work didn't, and you're right back where you were before. You have to make plans before you go jumping off somewhere. You're saying, oh, well, this will be more affordable than where I live. Yeah, it will be. But that also comes with some sacrifices. It comes with some adapting to a different culture. And a lot of people don't put that, they don't put it in their mind that they've got to do that. They've got to be able to adapt. They got to be ready when they go in there so they're not going crazy. I'm telling you, I've known so many people that have done this kind of thing that have gone, moved here, moved there, and they move right back to where they were. It's not just the lack of acceptance in that community that they move to. It's the fact that they're a different type of person than where they have moved to. Now, if you're somebody that's pretty much a shut-in, all right, won't matter because you're working online and you're also uh, able to order things, but you have to be patient because, like I said, some things don't come that quick. You have Amazon 24 hours delivery. I mean, you're not going to have that over there, more than likely. It depends. If you're moving to a city overseas, possibly. If you're moving into some kind of country town overseas, oh, that's probably even worse than a country town in the United States. You got to think about those things. Where am I going? What am I going to do? How am I going to live? That's the most important thing. How am I going to live? Because you know how you're working online. Make a plan before you go and make a decision to go out somewhere else. And includes going out and living on a mountain in a cave, I would say that the best thing you could do is to research where you're going to be going and plan it all out before you get there. Now, if you're looking for that kind of life where maybe even traveling, you go here, there, this country, that country, out into the country, to a city, back to a country, out to a city. If you're going from place to place and traveling, that's another thing to get used to. Then maybe you want to get into what I'm talking about. And that's working online, remote, doing automated money. A lot of people think, well, that's going to be a lot of work. No, once you have a system set up, then you're going to have a way to make things work. Is it going to happen overnight? No. And you don't want it to happen overnight. You want it to develop because then you appreciate what you're doing and then you learn how to make it even better. So if what you're looking for is something that will change your life and make it more adventurous, check out the link below and see what you could find. You never know, it might just happen. It all depends on you. That's not just a business, that's your moving, living, all of that. All of what we're talking about here. That depends on you. Make preparations, see if it works. If it doesn't, hey, make sure it doesn't before you make those moves and find yourself losing money and time. So check out the link below. This is Casino Mike. Find a place.